right? And I'm going to upload this onto YouTube channel so you can play back that again. Okay. Okay, well, this is a bit of another story from a different region in the planet and on the planet. Jack Ma, for instance, well, they have they mentioned that he failed 3 entrance exams for college, rejected from Harvard 10 times, applied for 30 times for a job but got rejected. The only applicant out of 24 to be denied from Kentucky Fried Chicken China. And he was the only person out of 5 rejected by the Chinese police force. So fail until he created Alibaba, and now he's Alibaba business and e-commerce in China, and now he owns 22.5. His net worth is 22.5 billion US dollars. Right, how beautiful that is.
Yeah, amazing story.
I know. So kind of entrepreneurs is kind of a relentless pursuit of success. And if you look at Elon Musk, another profile of entrepreneur, he also suggested another thing, the same thing actually. So strive to make it better with this story, launching Tesla car, for instance. That's what he believes. Make it better and better to make sure that they meet the customer's need. Okay, all right. So that's entrepreneurs. Now, well, I'm not going to discuss this a lot more, but one of the things I'd like to focus on is the social entrepreneur. Okay, which is actually the core assessments, the core element that we need to deliver in our assessments. Okay, this is what we mean by social entrepreneur. Right. Well, look, if you look at if you refer to different text, you may find different classification of entrepreneurs, but this is an example of classification of entrepreneurs. Okay, social entrepreneur is considered as running social enterprises, right, that are driven by community needs rather than profits. Okay, so this concept was first introduced by Joseph Banks back in 1972. He mentioned that in his seminal work that social entrepreneur is the one that we need to help us solving social problem, right? So what he means at the time, he presented the idea that we need to adopt the commercial business concept into solving social problem. Okay, so therefore, social entrepreneurs basically have 2 things as their mandate: solving social problem, contribute to the social problem or social development, and as well as being survived financially. Therefore, they also help growing the economy, basically. Okay. Now here I give you an example of Thank You Water, for instance, as an example. In the assessment advice, I've given a list of links, and one of the links actually leads you to social enterprise in Australia. But please feel free to look at your home country in terms of social enterprise. All right. So 2 key characteristics in here. They start with understanding social need, social problems, right? And they think about solving this problem by devising managerial techniques, managerial approach to solve this problem. Okay. All right. So, well, this is a bit of discussion about profit and not-for-profit organization. We have the, let's say, Commonwealth Bank in Australia, for instance, as an example of profit sector. And Salvation Army is another one. They start with the problem, and in doing so, they also need to survive. Therefore, they need to make profits to help funding their own activities, right? So they can be sustainable. Right? Right, so this is the one that we discussed before. Schumpeter, for instance, one of the economists, suggests that entrepreneurship is one of the key elements in the in driving the economic growth in the capitalism system. Well, if we go back to the debate between the communism system and capitalism system, the communism system suggests that the capitalism system will collapse. and those who support the capitalism system suggest no, it won't collapse because we have the tools, we have a kind of self-cure to drive the economic growth, right? And Schumpeter is an example of economists supporting that, right? So they drive the economic growth by taking risks and also meeting customers' need better, okay? List of examples in terms of entrepreneurship in times of crisis, okay? They do still contribute to the economic growth, okay? During the Great Depression, for instance, General Electric introduced the fluorescent light bulb, okay, and that helps the customers' problem better. During the Eisenhower recession, for instance, right, Kroc opened the first McDonald's store. Until now, it is one of the strong businesses globally. Okay? And during the Vietnam War and oil crisis, Bill Gates and Paul Allen formed Microsoft. Right. So, although we are facing hard times from economic perspective, okay, the role of these entrepreneurs are still critical in driving the economic growth, pumping the growth of the economy. Right. So we do need entrepreneurs, in short. Okay. Right. Now, the other thing I'd like to introduce to you is the concept base of the pyramid marketplace or subsistence marketplace, where if you look at the social entrepreneur, they are quite close related to the base of the pyramid marketplace. Okay. Base of the pyramid marketplace basically is a concept that first introduced by Prahalad. Okay, he suggested that a lot of people globally, well, we have around 7 billion people globally, 7 billion people globally. 5 billion people basically live in less than $2 a day. Okay, from economic perspective, they live in that kind of situation, in poverty. Okay, so this is a massive volume. Okay, where it is one of the social problems basically that we all are facing. Okay, and Prahalad actually at the time challenged people. Why can't we do something using modern techniques in business management, in strategic management to help solving the problem? Okay, and his proposal at the time was actually considering why there is little interest for companies or commercial enterprises to compete or to help solving a problem with these markets. One of the reasons is these people, the member of the base of the pyramid marketplace, have little access to purchase power. Okay, therefore the risk of entering that market is quite high. Okay, and Prahalad actually at the time suggests that if we can find a way to engineer our volume and also costs, right? That's the massive volume that they offer should help absorbing the costs, right? That's what he suggested at the time. Okay, now that concept has actually evolved to the next level in terms of contributing to solve the problem of the for the base of the pyramid marketplace. Okay, one of the things that people also consider is basically why don't we also partner with the base of the pyramid marketplace so we can understand them better, so we can help solving the problem. Okay. There's some experiences in here in terms of companies trying to participate in the BOP market. P&G, for instance, launched pure water purification. Right. Originally, it was it was aiming at making profits, but it has been changed into corporate social responsibility because the customers didn't understand why do I have to pay for water, because I can get water for free and I just need to boil it. Okay, and the second one is Unilever Hindustan did the consumer research. What they did is after thorough consumer studies, they found ways to they got the insight that they need to reformulate the product, and they did a number of activities to introduce washing hands, for instance, to help children reaching beyond 5 years of age. Okay, and in India, for instance, at a time, a lot of people didn't wash their hands, and that has caused a problem in terms of diarrhea that has killed a lot of people at a time. Okay, and Schneider Electric, for instance, had another project in Trang Binh, Vietnam, for instance. They introduced renewable energy to help people accessing renewable energy. Okay, so a number of companies have tried to participate in solving a problem of the base of the pyramid marketplace. Okay, Aravin's an eye clinic in India, for instance, offers a different concept. They offer free cataract surgery for those who need it, but they can't pay for it. They can't pay for the service, and they charge normal price for those who can afford to pay for it. Okay, and are they still making profit? Well, if you look at the annual report, yes, they do still make profits. Okay, how does it happen? Well, the rich guys basically kind of subsidizing the needies. So if the patient comes to the clinic saying, "Hey, look, I need to have the cataract surgery because I can't see, and but I can't pay you because I don't have the money." Yeah, that's fine. Come here, and we'll deliver the surgery for you. Okay, and of course, the other guys who have the money, they pay for it. And now the problem, the question is, why do people still come to the clinic? Well, because that clinic, because of the service, the clinic actually has done a lot of cataract surgeries, massive volume of cataract surgeries, right? What does it mean? Well, in that kind of industry, experience means a lot. Okay, doctors also, surgeons also need to build their experience. Okay, so that has helped them building the credibility in that industry. So the wealthy guys are still willing to come to the clinic because the surgeons have strong experience. Okay, so that is actually the contribution of the needies in terms of providing the service for the wealthy guys. All right. At the same time, the clinic also helps contributing to the social problem, because with the customers can see again. They can get jobs. They can, develop themselves further, right? Which is basically part of their contribution to solve the social problem. Okay. Right. So now we have two concepts in here: social enterprise and social entrepreneurs. These two terms may have been used interchangeably. If you look at the scholars' explanation, well, actually, but both of them start with the social problem, right? Social enterprise or social entrepreneur basically start social problem. So a lot of people use these two terms interchangeably. Okay, although there is some effort from some scholars such as Luke and Chu, for instance, try to differentiate those two. Enterprise has the commercial sense, whilst entrepreneur is actually the behavior in terms of identifying opportunities, innovation, and risk. Therefore, they mention that social entrepreneurs basically has the innovation component in it. Okay, but in my suggestion, let's put these two things simply as the social enterprise is the organization, whilst the social entrepreneurs are basically the actors behind it that drive, because they need the organization as well to drive the innovation and so on and so forth. Okay. Okay. So how do they work? A lot of people debate about the concept of social entrepreneurs. Well, their debate is basically about the definition of social entrepreneurs, and that leads to superhero type of people, because these guys have the mission to solve social problem. Kind of, I was born to solve the problem of the planet. Okay, so kind of action hero type of definition. Okay, now that definition has received some criticisms because it may be, too personalized basically, and from methodology perspective, it also has received some criticisms, right? But nonetheless, what we offer actually to look at what they do in terms of social mission. Okay, so what do they do? Well, they start with social problem. All right. So when you select your own organization as a social enterprise, look at the social problem, right, to determine whether these guys are doing social enterprise or not. Okay. Initiate innovation, disperse the ID. So that's what they do actually. Okay. Now let's have a look at it further. There is another debate in here in terms of whether people can create a value and also capture value at the same time. Capturing value actually refers to the shareholders, creating value for the shareholders. So economic benefits for the company, for the firm. Whilst value creation is actually the value that we provide for the society's members, right? There was a discussion about it where Mexican bank Compartamos, for instance, in the beginning, they provide the microfinancing services for the needy guys to finance their own business activities. This is actually value creation. But in the 1990s, right, the shareholders actually gave them pressures to increase the interest rates. And that is actually kind of divorcing the poor to get the access to financing services, right? Yunus actually, a lot of people including Yunus actually compliant to them. And but anyway, that is the dilemma of having value creation and value capture, or that is the dilemma of solving social problem whilst creating wealth for the organization. Okay? But is that still possible? Yes, it is still possible. A lot of organizations start with the understanding social problem and bring solutions for contribute to the solution to the problem. At the same time, they also create value for the organization. Okay, we just discussed, for instance, Arafin organization, and we discussed a number of social entrepreneurs as well, or social enterprise as well, such as Thank You Water. They sell a number of fast-moving consumer goods products, get the profit for them to finance their own social activities. Okay, right. So that's hopefully that gives you a bit of ideas in terms of social enterprise. Any questions so far, Hans?
Oh no, I don't think so. I'll need to sort of revisit it and let it sink in a bit.
Right. Fair enough. Okay. That's the recent development in terms of social enterprise or social entrepreneurs, where we need the partnership between the social activists, firms, and also the government to help solving problems in the base of the pyramid marketplace. Okay. Right. This is an example of social enterprise. Bill Drayton is the founder of the Ashoka organization. You can look at your home country as well, whether they are available. If they are, you can also use this organization for your assessments. Okay. And the other thing that I'd like to discuss with you is the assessment. Okay. What I will do is to oops. Right. Can you see my screen now? The advice?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, brilliant. All right. Now, this advice is actually contains my suggestion in terms of how we can attack the assessments. Okay. Assessment 1 actually contains these elements. Okay. In brief, the tools that we need to deliver basically includes these areas here: the macro environmental forces, microenvironment that focus on the customers and also the competitors. So if I just put bold in here, the customers and competitors, right? Now this is actually related to module 2, okay, and also SWOT analysis, okay. So there are the 4 elements that we need to analyze, okay. How do we attack that? Well, this is how I suggest you to structure the assessment. First, look at the introduction, outline brief introduction of about the company, product and service, and business activities, what they do, how they operate, okay, and also establish the context of this company from the perspective of social enterprise. So why do we call this company or this organization as a social enterprise, right? So we know that the social enterprise starts with the social problem. So you describe the social problem that they try to address with their business model, okay? The next one is macro environmental forces. You can use past model. Now in Australia, we have the Australian Bureau of Statistics. You can please use secondary data like the, your statistics data, for instance, and also publication, and the other industry reports to help substantiate the arguments. Okay, and micro environmental forces look at the how the competitors and the customers affect the value creation, right? So from customer perspective, let me just type in here. From the customer perspective, you look at their needs, their preferences, right, and their trends. Okay, focus on the trends, understanding the trends. Okay, now. You may get 2 types of customers. The first one is the customers who give you the funding, okay, as a source of business, the finance, the financial part of the business. And the second one is the benefactors or the receivers of the benefits of your activities, right? If that's the case, then you explain it, right? Who receive the benefits of your company's activities? Okay, so some organizations like Thank You Water, for instance, they have customers, they earn profit from the customers selling water, for instance, and a number of other consumer goods, and the people who get the benefit of their activities are basically those who need clean water, for instance, somewhere in other countries. Just a brief analysis of the company's marketing plan. Now, you may not get the access to their marketing plan. Okay, what you do is basically to explain their own marketing mix variables, their product, their price, their place, their distribution, and their promotion to show how they perform. To show how they perform relate to their performance, okay, and conclusion recommendation. So that's basically the ones that that we need to deliver, okay. Now there's things that I'd like to highlight to you as well. Similarity index. Please make sure that it is less than 20%. Use the tools discussed, which is basically around module 2. Formal writing style, and if you are engaged in group work, make sure that all group members have been listed, and it is due on the 17th of November, right? And that's basically the main points about the assessments, okay? Right, any questions?
I don't think so. I probably just need to do a bit of research around suitable, I guess, subjects in terms of the social enterprise, and whether there's something sort of perhaps more local or national for me that's it's going to be a bit easier to understand, perhaps.
Yep, fair enough. Well, look, I understand that. Now, this is module 2. I'm not going to discuss it tonight because I understand that it may be around 11 o'clock at your time. I'll discuss this actually on Friday, and I will record it as well, okay? And so you can play back at your convenience.
Sure.
The module 2 actually consists of the tools that we need to use for this subject to address your assessment 1, okay?
Yep.
All right, and thank you very much, Hans. Look, if you need my help, that's my email address.
Yep.
Right, send me an email. I normally pretty quick. I my commitment is to reply to your email on the next day at the latest. But so far, my record is basically on the same day, not within the minutes or hours to reply to them.
Okay. Yep.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much for joining me, and have a good one.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We'll
Bye.
see you next time.